So thanks to everybody that came tonight and came out in the wet weather. I appreciate you showing up. I know most of you have been here before to hear an introductory meeting. And this is pretty much in the beginning, so it's going to be a repeat, but might be a little bit sped up. But I'm going to go over the basic information about our store and what it's going to be to become a co-op. My name is Smelser. I own the Bookworm bookstore, and most of you who has shopped in the bookstore before, pretty much everyone. So we are going to go back to 2005 when I opened the store. I actually bought the store because it was less expensive than renting a building, and the opportunity just came up where I could actually buy the store from the antique, Miss Norman, who owned the Main Street Antiques, and we moved in right after the streetscape layout downtown was just about done, which I heard because I wasn't involved in it. It was about 2.5 years of construction and making everything pretty in the downtown. So after that was all done, several businesses that had weathered the storm, but couldn't, they were just tired of it, I think, and just ready to retire. So quite a few people did leave at that point, and I just was fortunate enough to find someone who was ready to move on, and I was able to buy the building. So I actually own the property, the building itself, and our property, which goes out to the street, Hotel Street behind here, back in 2005. Thank you. And I started off as wanting to have an office to work at it. I had been selling books online. I had gone out of my house. I had gone into warehousing and going kind of self-storage type of warehouse where you lift the door and go and get what you need and pull out. And I'd done that for quite some time, and I just needed an office to work at it. So it was a good size investment, but I felt it would be nice to be in a storefront, and that way anything that did not sell online wasn't worth selling. I'd have a place where maybe people would walk in and buy some things. It was truly not intentionally a bookstore. But lo and behold, very quickly, within about 3 months, we just kept getting people bringing in their books and wanting to buy books, and the store just very quickly became successful, and we were profitable within 3 months of being open. Which was very surprising to me because it wasn't expected. And we actually needed to go rent a building after pretty quickly so that we could go and still do our online business. And the bookstore became an actual bookstore. And that's when the Bookworm just became vibrant and the place to go. So that was back in 2005. We're now in our 14th year, which is pretty astounding that we've been open that long. And we have been not only profitable since we opened pretty much, but we've become very well loved and really a landmark for the downtown Powder Springs. We've seen a lot of businesses come and go in the meantime. And the one thing I can tell you about opening a business, if you haven't ever owned your own business, especially a brick and mortar, it's very, very difficult to open, maintain, and stay successful for a small retail business. You have to really have the right product. You have to have your prices, price to sell, and you have to have constant business. Retail is hard because you never know what your day is going to look like. It's a lot of people will say, well, what's your busiest day? It's like, this week it was Monday, next week it was Saturday. Saturdays tend to always be that busiest day, but I can have a Monday or Wednesday or Thursday that's just as busy, so we just really never know. We right away took another building, as I said, on another street, Broad Street, and we did our online business from there and made it our trade-in center because we were getting in so many books so quickly. So probably maybe for the last 12 years, we averaged a lot of times up to 1,000 books a week coming in the door. So you can imagine the amount of processing that takes and just the stuff coming in. And I always like to say it's like doing laundry or dishes. You know, you did it and you're proud of yourself, and then it's there again. So we have a lot going on, so we never sit behind a counter and have nothing to do. We always have new merchandise coming in that needs to be tended to. For the first 9 months I was open, I actually ran it myself, pretty much lock, stock, and barrel. And we were open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And that got old. I slowly took on a few helpers, volunteers, and had a few people help out. But it took a couple years. We cut out Sundays on and off, although we've done them over the years. And we find that most people want us to be open on Sunday because it's the only day they can stop in, but more for it's a convenience for them that they know we're open. It doesn't mean that we have a lot of business, so we have to make sure that we have somebody in the store to take care of them. So with our online business, we now can have we can be open on a Sunday, and even if we don't have any business, we actually are fine because our business has a lot of components to it, not just in-store retail, but we also have our other building where we do online. There's a lot of things that can be done from either building. So we spend a lot of time packing and shipping every morning, and that can be done as long as they're trained. So over the years, like I said, we've seen things come and go. And the last few years, unfortunately, it has started to become a little bit of a ghost town around Powder Springs. So if you live in the area, you know, a lot of times you can come downtown and see, unfortunately, not a lot of stores open, a lot of storefronts, not a lot. We don't have many restaurants, or we hadn't. It's a lot of people, as I said before, go into business not realizing how much work it is. And they expect to get money really quickly and turn a profit in no time flat. So a lot of people come and go. We used to have a very vibrant downtown, and slowly over the years, where we felt like we were slipping if nothing happened, it was really going to just be a huge ghost town. Then all of a sudden, we just had things going on. I'm on the Downtown Authority for Powder Springs, so I've been a good part in the last 4 years, I think, of seeing all the planning that's been going on. But Stephen, my husband, and I have been, we started being on a few committees probably, I don't know, 15 years ago on transportation and going to different things where we could help improve the downtown and see what's going on and put our input in. But over the years, we've been planning to plan, and that's about it. We see all these wonderful things that it could be, but it hadn't happened. So now, fast forward to 2014, and my oh my, do we have things going on. So just to let you know, if you're not from the area or you don't know everything that's going on, right now in the downtown we have the store next to us is owned, we're in the event center, which is a fabulous renovated old gas station and lawnmower shop. And this has been beautifully done by Mr. Hardy. Mr. Hardy actually bought the building next to us, which is the Country Store, which is the oldest building in Cobb County. He's renovating it, and he is going to make it into another show place like this. He's bringing it all back to its original glory. So we have that being restored. On the very next street where we used to rent in our trade-in center, we have a brewery coming, Railway Brewery, Railcat Brewery. And I'm so excited about that because, again, that's going to bring a lot of different feet to our downtown. Craft beer is just a really neat thing, and they're going to be a brew pub, and they're going to be, I believe, and of course everything's still just in the works. They've closed on their building and they haven't started construction quite yet, but they're getting ready to. And they are going to be having either food truck type vendors or vendors that want to have a restaurant and are going to try it out for them. They're going to be able to use their property. So we'll have a lot of different restaurants come through. Across the street, where all the blue is, they have the park going up, which we just started a couple weeks ago. So we're going to have a little amphitheater or splash pads for kids, picnic tables, a very large area where people can come together, socialize, and get together, and a trailhead. It'll be a trailhead for the Silver Comet Trail as well. Behind that's going to be 55 new townhomes. So we'll have that dense population that we need, and that's really an important thing for our downtown, is we need the dense population. People to walk out and need to go get something to eat, frequent their bookstore, shop at any, go to the restaurants that hopefully will be coming, and visit any little boutiques or whatever. And we have another building that was just also is going to be renovated, which has been, since I opened in 2005, beside Marietta Street Cafe, which used to be the tea room, and everything it's Georgia, we have to say it used to be. The old tea room is now Marietta Street Cafe, and they have wonderful, they were caterers, they have fabulous food, and they have a bar next door, so they serve on one side, they have a grill, and one side they have a cafe where they serve drinks. And also food on that side. Next to them was an empty building, which we've looked at for 15 years saying it could be this, it could be that. Well, someone finally bought it. It was released from the person who had it for years, who had a dream but never got to realize it. It just sat there. Now someone's going to take it, fix it up, and it's actually Mr. Hardy's son, another Hardy. So that's going to be exciting as well. The country store, by the way, is going to be a custom furniture place in the back, where you'll be able to watch the furniture being made, from what I understand, and that front will be retail. So we don't know what it's going to be, but I can guarantee you they will not cut corners anywhere. It'll be a very nice place. So we're waiting to see what happens. And the last big part of our picture that we didn't even know about was we have a soccer field, a world-class soccer field, that was just closed on about 1 mile from here, on Hill Road and Thornton Road. It's going to be a 22-acre field with 3 outdoor fields, 1 indoor field, restaurant, training facility, and hiking trails, and 22 acres, and it's about a $10 million project. So that is going to bring a lot of feet to the ground, new people to Powder Springs. I think all that's, and then people come here, like on the trail, people will come here and they'll want somewhere to eat, they'll want somewhere to shop. So we are just in for a tsunami of businesses to come, and we'll have people to support them. So back to the store. In 2010, my husband and I went through a very big transformation, unbeknownst to us. We both were quite heavy, me for most of my life, and my husband up and down, and we lost a combined weight of almost 300 pounds, which was completely not on what we had expected to happen, but it opened another career opportunity for us, and we became health coaches for the company we lost weight for. So we started just having other things to do with our time, and so back in 2012, about a year and a half later, I decided to be a full-time health coach and sold the store to someone who worked for me. So I actually took I like to call it a 9-month vacation because I sold the store, and I didn't realize that the person I sold it to wasn't going to be able to keep it going and flowing the way I needed it to be, and she had different ideas on how to run it. So in 9 months, the business kind of went downhill, and I had to take it back over. So I've been there every step of the way except for that 9 months. And when I took the store back over in 2012 in September, we've been back ever since. We got the business right back to where it is. Everything went back right the way it was, and I've been truly happily there ever since. But my husband retired last year, and we have clients from our health coaching business kind of all spread out all over the United States, and we want to travel, and we really now are in the position where we would just like to kind of get up and go and have time off. Running a bookstore takes a lot of hours. We're open 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday, plus our online business, which tends to be, it's not 24/7, but sometimes you kind of feel that way, but it's open every day that the store is open, and there's just a lot that goes on. The nice thing about the online business is it really adds a lot of profit and benefits to our store. Our store by itself is a profitable business, but our online business also brings in a large income. So in talking about the co-op, when I first started these meetings, we had 5 introductory meetings, and so this is technically the 6th one, and we've made a few changes since then. This is a plan in progress. Every time we come up with an idea on how to do everything, we have to step back a little bit and go, oh, I hadn't thought of that. Well, what if we do this? So in the beginning, it was basically going to sell this, just sell the business part of my store. and Steve and I would remain landlords. And very quickly we had an offer on the building, and we actually took the offer, and we realized that somebody was going to be the landlord over the co-op, and we had an opportunity to sever the plans and not close on the deal. And so we are the owners, we will stay the owners, but at that time it was only going to be the business. Now our plan is just a little bit different, where if the co-op comes into existence, we are actually willing to do a lease purchase or a purchase. It just depends again on the co-op. Once the co-op is out of our hands, it will be basically up to co-op to decide if they want to purchase the building, and we are willing to do a lease purchase, so it can be a very slow way. But we know how valuable our property is. We are the best location in the downtown, and I think everybody has agreed with that. We can be seen from coming up Lewis Road. We can be coming from either way. We have, everybody can see us. We're easy to get to. The parking lot is owned by the city, so we don't have to worry about responsibility of taking care of the parking lot. It's just ours to use. There are no plans right now to have any changes currently. So then basically now we're to, what is a co-op? So how many of you know what a co-op is? Okay, we got about 50%. So basically, a co-op, and if you don't have a sheet of paper, we're going to be handing these out at the end anyway. It's an organization that is owned and democratically controlled by the people who use it, its products, supplies, and services. Cooperatives are formed to meet the specific objectives of the members and are structured to adapt to the members' changing needs. Working together as a group, members find they can accomplish more collectively than they could individually. And that's why the co-op plan seems to work well into what we're kind of thinking. So Steve and I had gone to a trip last year, and we stumbled upon a co-op, a bookstore co-op in Minnesota. Montana, Billings, Montana. And I was just enamored with the fact that they started from scratch. They put the co-op together. It's a nonprofit in a big downtown area, and they utilize it for space for events. They have a tea shop in there, and they sell new books. So it's a little different than what we're doing, and they started it from scratch. There are 4 or 5 bookstores that are co-ops in the whole United States. So it's a very, very rare and unique thing. And most co-ops start from scratch. They put it together. It's by a joint effort, people pitching in, all to make it happen. Where ours is very different. Our business is a 14-year-old company that's profitable, successful, a landmark, and we want to convert it to a co-op. So it's a little bit of a different situation where with most co-ops, they hope they can get it going and working. And instead ours is, we just need hands to take it over. I know that it will run with some volunteers, and that would be anybody who buys in to our dream. I like to call it a dream because my dream is the store stays. But we have in our database, we have about 9,300 to 9,500 people in our database. Those are all customers who have come through our store and actually purchased products and wanted us to, send them a newsletter, be in contact with them, that we're going to come back again. I'm going to say that we probably have triple that in people that have been through the building, and there's a lot of people that just don't ever want to give their information out. So again, that's almost 10,000 people that love our store enough to give us their name and information, and that's saying a lot. Even after 14 years, it's still saying a lot. We send out a newsletter to, I'm going to guess, 3,000 to 4,000 of those people. It could be a lot higher. I truly don't keep track. We outsource our newsletter through Shelf Awareness, which is the book industry newsletter, and they do a fabulous job, and we can send out our editorials to them. So the newsletter that a lot of you may get already is very professionally done, And we love that we can do this, and it doesn't cost us any money, but we can look professional. We can tell you what's coming out in the near future, and we can also tell you what's going on downtown. So it's local, but everywhere. So I completely lost what I was talking about, and I'm going to go back to where I was. I just absolutely went to another space and time. In our store, we have a lot of people that come in on a daily basis. We have one customer, he comes in every single day to chat. Working in a retail setting, one of the things you learn very quickly is you are a mother, a psychiatrist, a nurse, the direction lady, the book lady. We have had a few men that work there too, so I'm not going to be gender specific. But you tend to be kind of just that place to go to find something else downtown. That's what bookstores tend to be. And we have a very large following. We are able to not only sell books at a very reasonable price, but we also can, our motto in our store, we have several of them, but the biggest one is we're all about customer service. We even put it on our sign up front, come in for free customer service. Because that's one thing that lacks in the big box stores, and most places they don't offer customer service. It just isn't, what's important. And that's like the most important thing to us. We also don't specialize in anything. I like to say we don't cater to anyone, but we cater to everyone. So we have a little of everything in our store, with everything coming in and out. So we keep a really good inventory of things, and if we don't have it, our goal is to help find it. We don't necessarily know that we can get it at that fabulous price if it walked in the door, but we definitely are going to be able to find it regardless of the price, and if you need it, we'll get it for you, and we can get it sometimes quick. We can reach out to a lot of our friend bookstores. We like to stay local as well and shop with independent bookstores, but we'll find it, and our goal is to make our customers happy, because that's going to keep them coming back. So we've had just a very successful business. We have volunteers in our store and employees. Right now we run with 3.5 people, 3 part-time and 1 full-time person. And that's just had changed recently to that. Our online business, we can definitely is at the other location, and we have 2 people over there, and usually there's 1 person running the store. Often myself as well, but not always. The store can really run with 1 person. The other building can also run with 1 person. And fortunately or unfortunately, 1 person could run both. They just work really hard. It's hard to be in 2 places. That's the only thing that I haven't figured out that one yet. But we just have a truly good business. So the other thing that helps us along is we have volunteers. Our volunteers right now come into the store. They help shelf books. They do whatever little projects we have. It could be taking stickers off, pulling books off the shelf, because we try to keep books only 12 to 18 months is our goal. Of course, we never meet our goal, but we try. And we give away a lot of books. We donate a lot of books. We try to do things in the community that we can. Right now, just yesterday, we actually put out, and this is our, I think, 6th time doing it, is we're giving away $25 worth of free books to all teachers. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. So we have lots of books that no one ever will see, because when you go in a bookstore, you are going usually looking for something. You find that something and you stop looking. So you never get to that other right-hand side or that other left-hand side. So we have books that just get passed over and over and over again, just never got pulled to see the titles. So, but if a book hasn't moved in 2 years, it's got to find a home, because we've got to replace it with something else. And those books a lot of times will get pulled, and those will be donated to some cause or another. This week it's, like I said, we're doing teachers, and we have no limit. We'll take every teacher in Cobb County, Fulton County, Cherokee County. We don't care. We just want people to be able to come in our store. We want to give back to the community, but we also know that most of the people, and that's what's happened just since yesterday, we have a lot of people coming in and saying, I didn't even know you were here. We've been there 14 years, but people drive by all the time, and everybody's, whether they're on their phone or listening to music or whatever, they're not really focused in on what's there. Or they simply don't have time to have a reason. So volunteers actually help us get more people there too. And the whole co-op idea is that you have a lot of hands to be able to help out, then you're also going to have a lot of people that are bringing business to your business. So the co-op idea in Montana, which like I said, I've been thinking about for over a year, finally I realized after several attempts of trying to sell the store that fell through at the end, not because the person didn't really want to buy it, but because banks, when you're borrowing over $100,000 from a bank, it's truly difficult in the best of circumstances. And bookstores are up there with the bankers go, oh, I don't know about bookstores. I don't know if anyone's reading anymore. Well, they're wrong, and bookstores are up 31%, used bookstores are, the national average, and e-readers, which didn't even exist when I opened the store that I knew of, kind of took a lot of our business away in the last 10 years. They have really, really kind of killed us. Well, they are down 78%. Nothing against ebooks. I know everybody, you know, they have their place in the world and some things, but we need some of that business back. So a lot of people are going back to regular books, or they were doing both. So we have just a lot of things going for us. People are opening bookstores left, right, and sideways across the nation. But yet, one of the problems with bookstores is that, like any retail business, they have to rent from somebody and hope that their rent doesn't keep going up. Your expenses go up, your taxes go up, everything goes up in the world. But when you're finally making a profit and then your rent goes up, you just go, working so hard, but I'm basically just paying everybody else. So a lot of bookstores, after a while, they just can't keep taking those increases. So that was one of the reasons when we sold the store briefly and didn't close on it, was because we knew that if the co-op went ahead and bought the business and was just a tenant, that risk might have happened as well. So we decided to keep that. And my statement to you as of this minute truly will be, we have a set rent. It's a much lower rent that probably is going to be around here because I'm involved in it, but we're also not going to go up on the rent like a lot of businesses. And sometimes by the time you start, you know, 1 year and 5 years later, your rent almost double, which is just, it's sad because it puts people out of business. So that will not happen. So getting back to volunteers, because I know I'm all over the map tonight, and that's because my brain is not quite intact. We have volunteers that we're asking everybody that is interested in becoming a part of our business is basically if you can volunteer 4 hours a month. And that doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of people, and a lot of people can do that. Some people don't have that time, and we know there will be some people that can't. But we're hoping with 4 hours a month, if we have 100 people, that's 400 hours of people that can help build our business. And that's 100 people that can bring business to our business that never even knew we were open or existed from different places. And it's not just working in the store shelving books, it's also putting it out there on social media, helping with PR. One of our biggest things we like to do, and today was a fine example, is we have an author booth, and authors are really great at hand selling their own books, that we don't have time to hand sell every single book, but when we can host an author, that author's promoting it, they're bringing people that might not have come to the store, so it's a great way to get business to the store. But for every author we have signed up, it's about 2 hours worth of time to set the signing up, put them on our webpage, all those little things that, it's not that it takes so long as all that follow through, sending in an author letter, making sure they're doing what they need. It's all a little bit more time. And when you're running the store, it's really hard to do all those things. So we don't go out of our way to invite everybody that we could. And we have a lot of really big authors that will come to the store that I've spoke to that they're just waiting for the invitation to actually be extended for me to talk to their publicist. They've said yes, some very big authors, but our biggest thing right now is I don't have time, and that's kind of sad. So that's another thing you can volunteer to be PR. Another thing is the schools. We work with the schools as much as we can. If they walk into the store, we can ask those questions. We can see what's on the reading list. The reading lists that the schools give out, we don't know. They change every single year. Every teacher comes in sometimes and does their own thing. Cobb County does their own thing. Every county has their own little things that they're going to give out to read. Well, we have an idea because some things are the same. You know, Great Gatsby and gosh, a host of it. I can't think of one other book. There's a lot of books. The Alchemist. There's so many books that are given out, and we just can keep getting them over and over and over again. Things fall apart. I could have 13 copies on the shelf, and I've had some of my staff that will say, don't take another copy, we have 13. And don't you know, they'll be gone. As soon as school starts, and it's assigned, you have 30 kids that need it, we are the heroes because we always have it on the shelf. So we really cater to the kids. But what we don't have is someone to go to the schools and just stop and talk to the media specialist or whoever. It could be the PTA or PTO president. It could be the teachers themselves. We have no liaison with any school. If we had that, we probably could double our sales. So just people that can, you know, are comfortable going to a school and talking to the whoever makes those decisions. There's just so much outreach we could do and little niches. We carry a little of everything, but we don't have the time to go to all the different events that are out there. But you know, if you like gems and rocks, then you could go to a gem and rock show and talk to people there and just say, hey, did you know the bookstore carries those books? You go a metaphysical show, any kind of anything that has to do with a big section that we have, they don't even know that we carry that stuff. So we need people just to go out there and publicize that we are there and we're open and we have lots of things for them at a low cost. That's always, you know, a good thing to be able to tell people. But again, so these are volunteer opportunities, so they're not all just working in the store. Of course, we do like people to work in the store. That's always nice too. So hand in hand with the paid employees and the volunteers, we feel that the store could actually do double or more what it's doing. Online is the same way. At our other building, we have enough merchandise probably for 2 years. If someone would have the time to list it all. We just could do as much as we can. I have sources that are very easy to keep buying, but then just stock piles up and you know, you just can't get to it. And I have to start giving up the sources. And when the source dries up, you're just so sad because you know that you could keep getting more and people keep buying it, but you still have to get through that whole big pile of it. And if you say no, you might not get asked again. So I have sources that will come with the business as well. Everything that we're made up right now of will continue on, but it needs people to run that part of the business as well. So getting back to basically, our thing is that we just really, really want the store to stay put. We need people to invest in it. And we hear this all the time. People come in, probably the statement that's made more than anything I've ever heard is, I've always had a dream of owning a bookstore. That is everybody wants that. They don't realize the work that goes into it and how many hours it is. But if we could slice it up into a lot of little pieces, I think it's just so very, very doable. So this is our offering. Our offering is going to be basically to become a member of the bookstore. We're going to actually start charging a fee. Anybody can shop at the store, but if you're a member, you get privileges. For $100, that's what a membership is going to be. You're going to get over $120 or more, so like $10 every month to spend in the store. It's already paid in advance, so basically you're buying your books in advance. You're going to get more than your $100 you spend, so it's not like you're getting something you're donating to a good cause. It would be a great cause, but we're going to give you something for it. So it's just a way for us to have a sustained amount of people shopping all the time. Then that will just be a membership and you'll get a discount as well. Then the other opportunity will be a shareholder. A shareholder is someone who owns a stake of the business. You will actually own for $500, you can own 1 share. You can buy as many shares as you want. And for that, you will become not just a member, but a shareholder that is going to get dividends for any profit that there is. Again, this is a work in progress. We're not really quite positive on what that profit will be. It's going to be a whatever percent of what you give. But so we have a lot of people owning a major amount of shares. They're going to get paid more when dividends are given out. But there's no set amount that we can tell you. This is not an investment where you're going to get rich. So if you think you're going to get rich, the door's right there. I would really advise you, the biggest thing I can tell you is, while our business is profitable, it's not profitable like anyone's getting rich. It's basically what you're gonna profit in is being a part of the community that has a sustained business that is gonna give back to the community and do all the things that we already do, and you will probably make money on top of the money that you put out. And if and when the business ever dissolves, you have a stake in that business. And the biggest thing I can tell you is that we've been doing it right for 14 years. The only thing it can really do is get better. It'd be really hard to mess it up, because I'll be involved in it and I'll own shares, and I'm not gonna let that happen. We are gonna be the only bookstore like this because of the online presence, because I own the building and the property and the business and the $500 to $1 million worth of inventory that comes with it for only $500 or any amount of shares. You will have a piece of that, and I can, like I said, I can't guarantee you, but I can tell you that it'd really be hard to mess up seeing the growth and investment in the future of Powder Springs. There will be we have a business plan. And I didn't print off that many, so I'm going to give them out a little bit. I'm going to probably end up emailing to everybody. I'll have you fill out a form tonight. But I'm going to turn this over because I know you guys have questions, but for those of you especially that have already been to the presentation, I know you had, one of the questions is, I'm interested, but I need a little more information. So I'd like to invite June from our steering committee. And by the way, we have a steering committee of 12 people right now who are working very, very hard to get everything going. And we're hoping to be able to take money, which we have not been able to up to this point, in maybe within hopefully a month. But again, it's a work in progress. But June is on our financial committee, and I'd like you to, she knows exactly what's been going on and has analyzed our business enough to be able to give you some good information that might make you feel better about making your decision. So
okay. So, good evening. I'm so glad to see so many people have come out, because I have to say that I'm one of those people that drove by the bookstore so many times and said, oh, that's cute. And it wasn't until we had the groundbreaking ceremony, I don't know if anyone went to that, but that groundbreaking ceremony, listening to the people that are helping make great things happen here in Powder Springs, made me say, you know what, maybe I should go see the bookstore. And when I went in there, I got to meet Elaine. And she taught me a lot about what a co-op was, because I was thinking, what is a co-op? I've heard of them, but didn't know much about them. So she got to pull up some information on the website, and I'm like, ooh, I need to be a part of this, because one, I have to say, I have moved a lot in the time that I have been on this earth, but I have to say, I really, truly love Powder Springs. It is community, it really is, and so hearing that she wanted to sell the bookstore, I'm like, gosh, you know, this community needs a bookstore. It needs a bookstore because that's a place where people kind of, like she said, they just drop in, right? You can't be scared to go in a bookstore. You might be scared to go into the restaurant. You might be scared to go into City Hall, but a bookstore, they're welcoming. And they're places people kind of, you know, stand outside, drink a cup of coffee, you're chatting, you're inside, and that's what that is. So I said, I need to be a part of this. So I joined the steering committee and then got invited over to Susan's house, where I'm like, gosh, it feels like family here. And that's what I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, they feel like family. So anyway, that's just a little background. But background on me is I'm actually an accountant, and I have my master's degree from Mercer. I also have an MBA from the same school. And so when I went over to Susan's house, I asked her, tell me about your business. What are the numbers? What does it look like? Though I'm not going to go into detail about what she does and what her revenues, expenses, and all that stuff is, what I can tell you is that yes, she is telling you the absolute truth when she says she's profitable. That is an absolute truth. I will also tell you that they do run it on bare bones, and that if the community gets involved, there is absolutely, without a doubt in my mind, a way to make more money in that store. Because like she says, they have a lot of inventory. Some inventory, she's not quite sure what's there. So I can't imagine if I got to spend 4 hours in the other location to start digging through books, what I would find. And I have to say, off the record, no teller, I am not a book lover, right? But this bookstore, I think, really is going to be phenomenal. There is definitely room for growth. There's room to have that inventory out there, not just in the store, but online. The online, I'm not sure if we touched on this, but there's even opportunity for growth there online with actually having a second location open. So there is a lot of possibility, especially knowing what's going on right across the street, knowing that, I'm not sure if anyone went to the groundbreaking, but we're gonna be one of 13 cities, I believe, in Georgia or the South, actually considered a bike city, meaning that we're gonna be connected. All right, I'm not the only one that knew that. But meaning that there's gonna be other ways for people to get here other than by car. They can get here by bike, and people are going to do that because what's going on in this area is just, it's amazing, and I think that if you can't sense the excitement in me right now, as an accountant who does not like the sense of losing money, I'm absolutely already on the list to buy shares in this, because I'm that confident that not only is she making a profit, but even in worst case scenario, because that's how I predict things, we could still make a profit on worst case scenarios. So, questions or comments, or did we want to hold off on that?
Are we taking a question about your analysis?
Oh, no, go ahead. Okay.
About your analysis.
My analysis.
What did you look at?
So I looked at how she's functioning now as a sole proprietor, and then turned that into kind of a corporation. So right now, she has a certain number of part-time people. I said, well, if nobody wants to volunteer, how many people are we going to need full-time to run the store? So that's the way I looked at it, as fully staffing the store, covering their payroll at a living wage, because that's something that, you know, we would strive for. Not many places do that, but what we would strive for. So when I say worst case scenario, fully staffed, both location, full-time employees at a living wage, not paying them as contractors, but as employees. So that way they would have, you know, taxes, we'd have to pay the Social Security, things of that nature. I also then said, okay, well, we have to pay rent. We're gonna need to have liability insurance. Again, she has power bills, so I just bumped it up a little bit, you know, to say within reason what would be reasonable.
Okay, so in the analysis, did you have a business plan? Did you look at a business plan for the co-op?
Not to start with. I have to say not to start with.
We do have one as of today.
We do, and so that would be our next step, to go ahead and kind of mix the both of them, because I took it and said, okay, for the next 12 months, what would happen? Not what would happen in the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
So that is actually part of our goals next. But first, we really need to get buy-in and the community to want to buy into this as well.
Save the bookworm.
There you go, save the bookworm.
So everybody that has a share will have a voice. It doesn't matter how many shares you have, you will have a voice. So there's, you know, someone that owns 25 shares doesn't have any more to say than someone that has one. We want it to be very, very democratic and fair. And we also, so right now we have a steering committee of 12 people. We are going to very soon be electing a board, which will be temporary because we don't have shares sold, and we're doing a lot of chicken egg things. So to be able to take money from anybody, we have to have a bank account. To have a bank account, we have to be a corporation of some sort. So because we haven't done the things we need to do the things we need, we are still in that, we're gonna have to do some things that are temporary. So right now we have, with our steering committee, out of those people on the steering committee, and anybody is definitely, feel free to, you know, send us a note, or you write on the little survey I'm gonna give out. If you're interested in being on the board or on the steering committee, by all means, we're always looking for more people to help out, because this is a very large undertaking for a small group, and so we always need people to help. with the decisions. We have, and committees. There's a lot of things as we have committees. We have a membership committee, we have a publicity and marketing committee, we have a finance committee, and I think we have a committee to pick committees. So what we're looking for is people that can help out, because we know that it's going to take kind of a lot of hands to get things going and to sell the amount of shares we are. Right now we're offering 500 shares. When we sign up to be a corporation, we're actually probably we may have more shares that we can pull out later, and that might go towards the building. Again, these are still things that we're slightly unclear. We're working with the SBA at Kennesaw, and we're meeting with them, and they're actually for free helping us get our corporation going. We have done a lot, and I will tell my brother sitting here, Mr. Mark Fear, and Stephen in the back, my husband, have put in a lot of research on doing this co-op. We're not just coming out of left field and going, hey, let's just do this. There's been a ton of work that's gone into it so far. And then the steering committee has all put in lots and lots of hours to make sure that we're on the right path. And again, whatever is being said tonight is pretty much how we think things will go. But then, you know, we hit something that goes, oh, we can't do it that way, so we need to do it that way. Oh, wait, no, that's a better way to do it. And that's when we're looking for people that have different kinds of expertise in the field of co-ops. There's just not that many in Georgia. So we'll be the first one in Georgia. We'll probably be the first one in the United States again, which is really cool that we're going to do this and actually bring to fruition something that a lot of bookstores will look at us at. How can we stay alive? Because there's a lot of bookstores out there that are just by themselves and they don't have any employees, and they're working so hard to make everybody happy. But the bottom line is that they're barely getting by, because maybe they're not doing some things the right way. Maybe they're doing everything the right way, but they're in a bad location. Maybe they're in a great location, but the landlord just keeps raising the rent until they just can no longer do it anymore with all the different fees. Even just a fee to park in the parking lot at a lot of locations is really difficult. You're paying $300, $500, $600 a month just to be able to use the parking lot. So things like that, our costs can be kept very low. And because I am as frugal can be, my costs are as low as they can possibly be. And I can teach people kind of how to stay in that system of keeping our prices way down, but being able to offer out something really spectacular to the customers. The other thing that we wanted to talk about, excuse me, yes, in the back.
I just want to stress, your question was about the board.
Yes.
And so the board that would initially be set up is going to be, like I say, the board of directors will most likely come from the steering committee, but it's only a temporary board until the co-op is set up. And then it's going to be the members of the co-op, all the people who bought the shares and the people that are the members that have a vote. They'll elect a new board. That's what we said, it's a temporary board.
Right.
We have to have a board to be able to
Open up a bank account and get going.
Form a corporation, so it'll be a temporary board just until the co-op is set up, and then all those members will elect their own board.
Right. And then we'll have a board that'll make those decisions.
As far as certain things, that's going to be up to this new board. So we have an idea how we want to get it set up initially, but then once it's turned over to the co-op, it's all their decision after that exactly how they want to do things.
So once we become a corporation and the shares are offered, and then it's a matter of how quickly can we get to the to sell out. And right now we have a lot of people that are interested. We've had a lot of people attend the meetings. We have a lot of people that literally been trying to hand me money. And the thing is that I can't accept $1 from anybody until we're really ready to go. So like I said, there's a lot of that chicken egg thing going on. And the problem with that is that you have people that, you know, that came to the first meeting, but now it's like, you know, 6 weeks later. And sometimes if you don't go ahead and take somebody up on their offer of handing you money, they have other things to spend that money on. So by not having a bank account, it's, you know, it's kind of hurting us a little bit. And so we're trying to figure out about how many shares, and let's say we have over 100 shares sold already, that probably is close to it. It could be, you know, shy or high, we just don't know. We're keeping track of everything, but what we need to do is kind of just, all right, get this going. So that's where we're at that point where I think we have gotten, we're probably 80% there. We're really about to hit the bank account. Get to the bank account, get incorporated, do the things we need. We just got the business plan, our first one done today, and luckily, again, because I'm already an existing business, the business plan was pretty easy because it's like, well, this is all the things we want to do. Oh, wait, we did that. This is all the things that it's going to look like. For the co-op, though, to take over, it's going to be a lot more people, which is great because then one person isn't trying to do everything. And it's, like I said, it should only become better in that respect. And as June said, her figures were based on pretty much the worst sales I could produce, and expenses that were higher than most of my expenses are. And yes, you can still make profit. So I can tell you, I'm like a one-arm paper hanger most of the time. And I know that I can do so much better if I had more help. But because of my frugalness, I also don't hire a lot of help because I want to make sure that every time I'm paying somebody for an hour, it's actually going to produce more income to keep. I don't want to hire people just to
Have a body warming up the place.
Exactly.
Productivity.
And people truly do love working for us. Everybody we've had has come in. It's not a high-paying job, but we ask you to volunteer first. You have to spend 40 hours in the store, just so we get to know each other. We see if we like each other, if we can work together, and then we hire from our volunteer pool. Then we kind of turn into our intern pool when we need to hire someone. That's where we hire from. People that work for me, generally, they stay with me until I find them another job because I can see they need to make more money. And I've hired out a lot of people, but most people stay 3, 5, 7 years with me because they love the relaxing atmosphere. It's really a stress-free job as far as the only stress that's caused is usually me, knowing that I have so much to do and I can't get it all done. But most people that work for me, they know that, if you have children and somebody's sick, that's first priority. Somebody has a sickness in their family or a death in the family, don't worry, as long as we just gotta get you covered, don't worry, get out of here. And that's one of the things you can't find is a job where you can just not come and go as you please. Believe me, I still have expectations, but we are very, very laid back and we always find a way to make sure that everybody is happy. So,
why don't you take some more questions?
So give me more questions, and I'm going to leave June. I'm going to make June stand here because, like I said, she's my finance girl.
Just sneak away now.
Miss Elaine in the back.
Hi, how are everybody tonight?
Hi.
I'm on the steering committee. I represent the membership.
Do you want to come up?
Huh?
Yeah, why don't you come up?
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. My name is Elaine Pajanic. I represent the membership committee, and we would love to have volunteers. We have a young lady back there. If you would stand, please, and say your name.
Judy Shepherd. I'm on the finance committee.
If you're interested in volunteering, she can help you. I can help you. I'm also an employee of the Bookworm, and what she said is correct. It's a great place to work, and it's a lot of fun. I also owned the book stop in Smyrna, Georgia, and it closed. Smyrna a couple towns over. And I've also worked, I know who she is.
I know you.
It's like, that's too familiar.
The reason I'm up here is a couple. One, if you're interested in volunteering and being part of the co-op, it's not a lifetime commitment. If you have something you're good at or you want to contribute something, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to welcome anybody and every single one of you onto our committees. The steering committee is made up of people who live in this area who care about keeping the bookworm going forever. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us here tonight when you only needed one of us. But we wanted to show our support. We're not just people and a figment of your imagination or whatever. The other thing is, I've seen the statistics for the American Booksellers Association every year, the last 6 years. I've also seen her numbers. She's in the top 25% of bookstores within the United States that are making a profit. Okay. And I've known about her store for about 5 years. So from an American Booksellers Association standpoint, she's doing quite well being in the top 25%. And I have access to all their data, and I would call her and say, how do you do this? What are you doing? Okay. But in order to save the bookworm, we need to do a cooperative. And that means that everybody needs to step up to the plate, whether it's an hour here or an hour there, or, hey, did you know we had a bookstore in Powder Springs? But if you do have any questions, please do let me know. And on behalf of the rest of the employees who couldn't make it, go bookworm!
Thank you, Elaine. And a big part of when we started out was a little bit of the uncertainty of the building. So you're not only going to be investing in the business itself, which is, like I said, a profitable model, but we haven't figured out quite how we're doing it yet, but the way we're looking at it now, these shares actually that are sold, the number is higher than what I need, and we're actually going to be leaving money in the bank for the store for an operating expenses, and I forgot to say that before. Probably $40,000 to $50,000 will be an operating expense to get started, even though we don't need any operating, because we operate at a profit. So it's just a bonus. I want to see the store be and continue to be successful. Then once we have that board, the permanent board, then it will be discussed amongst the board. If not just the board, the members. If the members want to actually own the building and the property, and with everything coming, I can kind of guarantee that our property value is going up every minute right now. So that can be a piece of the pie as well, and we are willing to do that. And so you basically not only can just own a piece of the bookworm, but you can own an actual piece of the bookworm and the land that it's on. And that really makes this not only, just it sounds like a good idea, but a real wise investment. So that's, it just needed to be said. Any more questions? Yes?
Oh, sorry. Did you say that you own the building?
Yes, I own the building and property.
So will the co-op people or the co-op be paying you rent?
Yes, yes, and all the figures that have been done is with a established rent, which is lower than the market average for this area. I know that once our building next to us, our country store, which they'll have more square footage, but their rent will be a good deal higher than ours. But like I said, we want to keep it to a very, very fair rent, and so it's all factored in. Everything we have done is factored in with the expenses that will be a little more than mine, because I have a mortgage on the building now. So I have a mortgage on the building now, so I don't own it outright. So I factor everything in, and how much is too much, and how little I can go as well. And we will, because you're renting, we also will be, doing the heavy lifting on like repairs. We won't expect, and this is one of the things that a lot of building people that own buildings expect their tenants to fix every little thing that goes wrong, and the major things too, like your air conditioner goes out, that's too bad, fix it, you're renting. In my opinion, that's, if you might have to do the maintenance on it, but things like that should not be left up to. We're doing everything kind of from a customer or tenant point of view. I've done that when I opened a bookstore. I basically had visited probably 500 bookstores over my lifetime, and I do everything that I didn't like about another bookstore. I made sure I did the opposite. So that's kind of how I run my business, is what makes people happy. And if it didn't make me happy, then I don't do it. And we would keep, the other thing is, and it won't be my decision to make, but it'll be more my suggestion when I'm guiding and advising, and I will be staying on for some period of time helping out, that things don't change that much because people like it the way it is now. So, I mean, it won't be my decision, but I will be constantly going, it ain't broke, don't fix it. Although there's some things that probably need fixing. By the way, one of the things that I didn't say before was, and maybe I did, if the co-op doesn't go forward, the next step for us probably is to liquidate. And to leave the community. Not leave the community, just to liquidate. And Steve and I, are, going to go off and get our RV and go travel the world. We truly, truly want to see the store stay open, but we can't let this be something that takes forever. And I'd put a lot of time and effort into, like I said, trying to find one owner, but we really, at this point, we have to make the decision to move on or we'll be liquidating. Now, liquidating will take a long time. It might take the rest of the year, but we'll be operating. We're just not sure, but we are going to try to make our decision this month. So we have to have enough shares pledged, since again, we're not taking money, but we need enough pledges to be able to move forward.